flying ant. Great little dry fly pattern. Underrated pattern as far as dry flies go. I think a lot of people overlook ants, so this is a good one to keep in your box and have handy for summertime fishing. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is just black A-dot thread that you would have got in your box, and I'm just going to wrap back, just covering the hook shank here, and just wrap back to my tie-in point for my first material. I'm just going to hang that thread just there somewhere above the hook barb. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build up two distinct balls of dubbing. We're going to have one back here in the back, cover it with hackle here and a wing in the middle, and then another ball up here. So just kind of give a good little ant profile to this fly. So what I've got here for the first dubbing is just some black dry fly dubbing from Nature's Spirit. I'm just going to go ahead and just roll that on to my thread. Just a nice tight dubbing noodle, as tight as I can get it. And you can always start off with less and kind of build up as you go. I'm just going to start winding this around the hook shank here. And what I'm looking for is just a little ball that just kind of goes out past the hook point, just barely. Then I'll come back and just start shaping that ant profile, what I kind of think looks like a nice little buggy ant body, kind of an oval or egg shape little spot. So just something like that for that first segment. And then I'm going to take a piece of this poly yarn. I'm going to pull out a strand here. This is going to be my little wing, and I'll just brush this out real quick. So what I've done here is I've just brushed out a segment of that white poly yarn. So this is just going to act as our little wing. This is going to be more for us to see it on the water, to pick it up. So we like that white coloring. You could obviously use any color of high-vis yarn, EP fibers, whatever you got. Use your imagination there on that as well. But you can use a lot of different materials for that little wing. Even CDC works really good as well. So I'm just going to bind that down, some tight, good wraps of thread. Cut off my excess here. And I'll cover that over with my thread. Just making sure that wing's secure. And if you wanted to hit that with a little drop of super glue right there, you sure can. And that'll help hold that in. Okay, next we're going to tie in our hackle. So this is just going to take up the middle section of this fly here. This is just some whiting brown dry fly hackle. And I've stripped a few of the barbs away at the stem here at the bottom of the feather. And I'll anchor that in. I'm going to leave a little bit of that stem exposed here so I can start my wrap. I'll just wrap over that. And just come back and anchor that in. So now what I'm going to do is just make a few turns, 3, maybe 4 turns is all, and just wrap these just right ahead of the last wrap, just building up a nice little segment here. Looks like legs, adds to the wing even. So that's 3 full turns. I'm going to come up here about halfway on that 4th turn, bring my thread up and over, anchor that down. And then I'll come in here with my scissors close and just snip out my excess. Just fold anything back and just go over it one more time. Just make sure that's secure. That glue also in there, not quite dry, will help hold that as well. And then with the box, we gave you 3 different colors of dubbing there. The black, some dark tan, and some cinnamon or some rusty spinner. So you can use any of the colors. You can do an all black, you can do an all red. I'm going to use this dark tan. I like this coloring here. This is, again, Nature's Spirit dry fly dubbing. And just make a 2-toned ant body here. I've had a lot of luck with this pattern just on like little beaver dams, little creeks, tributaries in our local waters here in northern Utah. So it's been a really good little productive pattern. Like I said, often overlooked and underutilized in a lot of people's boxes. But now we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing as we did on the back half. I'm just going to build up a little bit of a segment here, or a ball of dubbing, and just try to make that look what I think an ant would look like here. Just build up a little egg shape. And once I have that there, I can bring my thread forward just right behind the eye. Then we're ready to whip finish. Again, just gonna do that right behind the eye. Add a little head cement on there if you'd like. And then before I finish there, before I put it in my box, I'm just going to trim this wing down just a little bit, just so it just extends just past the hook band just a titch. And then this is personal preference, but I like to come in here with my scissors and just cut out the underside of that hackle. This gets that fly to ride right on top of the water. Kind of more of a low riding pattern. And again, that's just personal preference. If you want to keep the hackle on there, by all means do it. But on little slow moving creeks, I like to have that fly sitting pretty flush with the water there. So there it is. There's your flying ant. Give it a shot. Let us know how you do with it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all the videos we put out each month, and for other fishing tips and other videos that we'll put out here in the near future. Thanks, everybody.